We landed in Johannesburg pretty late in Africa. We had about a 4.5-hour drive to the farm we were going to be hunting at.
I didn't get much sleep the first night we were there. I was far too excited, and so I pretty much stayed up playing on my phone all night, and finally just waiting for 6 o'clock to roll around, and we all started crawling out of bed, and we had a light breakfast, and then we shot the bows a little bit in the yard. Haven shot a rifle.
So the plan was, on the first day that we went to look for my kudu, was to shoot it with a rifle. So we went and hiked up basically a cliff to find it, and we heard them calling all day, but didn't end up seeing any. After the first day of trying to hunt my kudu, we decided that I would have a better chance if I shot it with a crossbow, since we could sit in a stand and kind of wait for them instead of killing ourselves going up the cliff again with the rifle. So fast forward to the hunt, we went and sat in the blind, and a bunch came out. A lot of them were really good kudu, and Kobe thought for sure that I was going to take one of them because I was looking through the crosshairs of the crossbow and everything. And I decided that I knew that that was not the one, the kudu that I picked in the video. So I waited patiently, and he ended up coming out, and I ended up taking a good shot of him. About 7 trackers and everybody to get the kudu up into the back of the truck, and it took a couple times them dropping them and having a tough time with him because he was a lot bigger than any of us expected, but they got him loaded.
What? Ôi kìa, kìa vừa. What?
So we got into the blind a little after daylight, and Adrian warned me beforehand. He said if we see a real big warthog, I'm just going to tell you to take it and cross that off the list. And it wasn't, I don't know, 30 minutes, and we had 2 warthogs coming in. One was a sow and one was a boar fall hunter. So I got real excited. He eventually turned broadside and gave me a shot, and I let it fly. We shot the warthog, and when we got back in the blind after we had sorted it out and took pictures, get back in the blind and wait about an hour. Nice impala comes in on the right side of us, and Adrian told me it was a shooter. So I started getting my stuff ready, and another impala that was also a shooter came in on the left side of us, and probably an easier shot. We wouldn't have to open another window. He told me he was also older, and he probably had more mass on him. So I went with the older one. He came into the trough just perfectly broadside, and I sent it through him, and he didn't go very far, maybe 60-70 yards.
We went a long ways from camp. We went way up in the mountains, close to where we hunted the kudu with the rifles, and set not too long in the morning. We had some clipspringer come in early, had a group of impala come in with a young bushbuck male. We look out there, and there's a big bull coming in. So Eddie looks him over, and we decide it's a good one for me to take. He kind of makes a long circle, circles around the water trough, and then comes in. I think it was like 24 yards, 23 yards, somewhere in there. Comes in, gives me a really good broadside shot.
The Gemsbok we hunted on the second day of our trip, and we went about an hour and a half away to another ranch and or farm, hour and a half away to another farm, and we got in the blind a little after daylight again, and we waited, I don't know, probably about 4.5 hours, seeing a bunch of other animals, and we weren't real confident with the Gemsbok, but we knew it was going to be hard. Me and Adrian were just sitting there talking, I think about just hunting back home and him hunting over there. And I look up, and there's a big Gemsbok bull. He comes in, he starts stopping a lot and acting like he's about to run off, so we decided we're not going to let him come all the way in. We're just going to try to take the shot where he is. And kind of turned back around. He was about to run, so I just had to put my shot where I wanted it to go and hope he didn't move.
He's clean.
I got lucky and I think just sneaked past the shoulder, and didn't get great penetration, but it got the job done. And we tracked him for maybe 100 yards, and that's when Adrian looked back at me smiling, and he's right here. So there you go.
We sat all day. We were actually hunting an impala whenever he came in, and me and Eddie kind of had some back and forth on whether we were going to shoot him or not, or wait for the impala. Eddie said smoke him, so I did, and that's what happened. That afternoon we went and sat in the same blind that Cason shot his impala and his warthog out of. We got lucky, we had some impala come in, we had some younger impala come in. We did have one nice one come in I drew back on, and he whenever he finally did turn broadside, he didn't give me enough time to shoot, and I didn't really want to rush the shot. And later on in the evening, we had another really nice male come in, and he came in on the right side of the blind, kind of in an awkward position, and I had a real small gap about that big in the window where I could shoot him before he was out of the window, and I wasn't going to have a shot. But yeah, he came in and drank for probably about 5-10 seconds, turned and stopped and gave me a just perfect, slightly quartering away broadside shot. I really love Africa. This was my third trip over there, and every time it seems to get better. This was my first trip with Blackhorn Safaris, with Eddie Rawl and Adrian. Those guys are great PHs. The experience both of them have is absolutely amazing. Those guys really know what they're doing. They really have a love for bow hunting as well, and really enjoy it as much as you do. I think half the time Eddie would get more excited or more nervous whenever we had animals coming in than even I would.
Adrian Anderson, which was my PH, he did awesome. He worked his butt off for us. Ati, he was one of the funniest, and he's a character. He's an awesome person, super nice people. He cracked me up the whole time, and made sure we were supported. When we didn't get an animal, he picked us back up when we were hanging our head. Sunette, she's a great cook. I actually am pretty picky when it comes to food, but I figured I'm in Africa, so I might as well try some new things, and there was not a thing I didn't like.
Every meal was something different. We never had a repeat meal, and they put a lot of thought and a lot of care into everything they do for us, and just overall super grateful to be able to share a camp with them for a week.